Hey all, this is the final version of my controller, the high-end version. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. So these controllers and the button set is all from X Arcade or X Gaming's X Arcade DIY kit. It comes with the buttons, it comes with both controllers. It comes with 20 buttons, so I have 12 here, and then I have 2 here on the sides, on each side, and so that's the full what is it 18 there, and then I have a 19th button here, and there's one that's unused. And then what I also did was I used a controller, the controller from X Arcade, and that has 4 different modes. So it has a mode for X input that works great with PC and PC VPIN. It works great with MAME. There's also an input mode for standard keyboard. Then there's a mode for remappable keyboard. And there's also a mode for remappable X input, I believe. I found that the X input and the reprogrammable X input are not able to work with Zen Pinball FX VR. And that's really what I built this for. So I was able to make it work by just emulating a keyboard and mapping certain buttons. So the flippers, on the left flipper is a U key. The right flipper on the other side there is the 6 key. The launch button is the 8 key. And the menu button, which I think I mapped here and also here, is the I key. And those are the only ones, unfortunately, that you can map. I found them by trial and error, by plugging a USB keyboard into my MetaQuest and then just pressing every key until I figured out which was which and just took notes. And then I remapped them using the X Arcade programming software, which is super easy. You just run it on a PC, you plug this into the PC, and then you press the button you want to reprogram and then the key you want to reprogram it to, and it just works. So that worked out great. And then the last thing I did with this was I added in the Cleveland Software Design Solenoid kit from their website. So that comes with 2 solenoids and what they call solenoid life extenders that are little circuits basically that are designed to allow you to hold down the flipper button without burning out the solenoids. And then I wired those into the buttons themselves, and that comes with a power supply, which is kind of nice because what I did was I just added a USB port basically to the power supply, and I plugged the X Arcade controller into that. So basically all I have now coming out of the back of this thing is a power cord. The other thing that I should mention is there's a piece in here by Wireless Scientific Inc. that's a USB dongle for Bluetooth. So when I plug it in, it automatically turns that dongle on, and my Quest is paired to it. So it sees it as a USB keyboard, and then it just works. So the last thing I'll show you is when I hit the flippers, it's actually going to use the solenoids, and it should be pretty similar to the Pin 1 because it's using the same internals. So you can hear there that it's actually using the solenoids, and those are inside. The case itself is something I designed in Onshape and then 3D printed. You can see that I printed the tops separate and then screwed them in. And the screw holes are included in the design. So all you'll need there is 2.5 or 3 millimeter self-tapping screws basically. And then you'll screw those in. And then I use 3 millimeter screws everywhere else to hold this together. It has to be printed in 2 sides because the printer that I use only has a 10-inch maximum height or width, or 10-inch cube basically. So each side is 10 inches, so it's slightly smaller. It's about a 1/2 inch smaller than a standard pinball machine, but you can't tell when you're using it in VR. And what else? Oh, the reason I put the tops on the way I did was because it's very hard to wire up. Otherwise, my first version of this didn't have that, and it was really tight getting everything screwed in. And then the last thing I'll show you on this is in the back here. I have custom doors that I put on the back. So this I bought. It's just it wires into the motherboard. It has a switch and a fuse, and it plugs into a standard computer power cord. And on this side, I built it so that it will have the switch from the X Arcade, and by switching that mode, that's how you put it into X input or keyboard mode or so forth. The blue button is for programming, so when I remount the keys, you press that button, and it will. That's how you make that happen. So that's, I tried to make it look as professional as possible. These doors screw on. In my first version, that was the only way you could get in there to wire everything up. But as I mentioned, I changed it so that now these screw in. So that's that. And again, this is my favorite part. It actually sounds like real flippers. And I hope that you enjoy it. All the parts are online, and I'm going to go ahead and upload this to Reddit now.